Hi, my name is Addie Hilster, in case we don't know each other yet. And this is going to be a little short series of IGTV videos on an introduction to mindfulness, or like a mini refresher course if you have practiced mindfulness meditation before. So this will be a little introduction video followed by a guided meditation video, which will be the next one in the series. So let's just start by talking about what mindfulness is. Mindfulness meditation is one of many, many different forms of meditation. And mindfulness practice is something that's becoming much more mainstream, much more available these days, which is really wonderful. And it's worth taking the time to define and describe what mindfulness actually means, since we're hearing that word so often. And it's a really rich term that comes from the early Buddhist texts, and it's a translation of the word sati, S-A-T-I, which is in the Pali language. Pali was the first language that the Buddhist texts were written down in. And when it gets translated into English, it usually is translated as mindfulness, which captures a little bit of the flavor of it, but it's actually a really, really rich and vast territory for exploration. And the implications of it may be more far-reaching than you even initially assume. So often it's defined as present moment awareness, or I think of practicing being intentional with my attention. There's a great quote by William James, and I'm not quoting it exactly here, but he talked about how what we pay attention to is what we're caring about in any given moment, and that what we attend to shapes our mind. So as we are being more intentional with where we place our attention and what we put our energy into, this is a big part of mindfulness practice, and it shapes the life of our mind. So you can even begin to see with just that how much this could actually influence how we live and choices we make and the ways that we know ourselves more fully and more deeply. And I also want to say right out front that mindfulness is not only mental. This is one of the downsides of the translation mindfulness, because it can sound like a kind of cerebral activity. And that's not at all the case. Actually, the first foundation of mindfulness in the traditional teachings is mindfulness of the body. And this is really key because the body is always here in the present moment and is always this reference point that we can come back to, where our life is really happening, where things are really playing out in this very tangible, real way. So mindfulness also includes inhabiting the body and bringing our awareness into the body. And this, for many of us, is quite a practice if we've been disconnected or we've lived in ways that have encouraged more disconnection in the past, which is most of us. That's how life seems to go. We also learn from our embodied experience as we become more and more at home in the body through mindfulness practice. And mindfulness could also be called heartfulness, just as easily as it is mindfulness, because we are cultivating these qualities of caring, these different attitudes that we bring forward in our mindfulness practice, a kind of caring, a non-judgmental kind of awareness, an ability to really be more present in relationship to ourselves and with others. So also this practice could be called heartfulness. And just final thoughts on what mindfulness is for now. In a way, it's a practice that asks us, where could my presence be more whole? Where could I be less scattered, being less fragmented? How could I see what I'm not seeing already? How can I see more clearly? How could my attention be more full and less half-hearted? So where could my presence be more whole? So I hope this is helpful as a definition or description of what mindfulness practice entails, and we'll begin in the next video with a guided meditation on the breath to start putting this into practice. So thank you for listening.